Hey, Stefan, the BMW DIY guy. I wanted to share a really quick, simple project today, cleaning my Alcantara steering wheel. This is something I strongly recommend that you do at least once a year. It really depends on how clean you stay in your car and how clean your hands are when you're working with the Alcantara leather. It makes a huge difference. So I was starting to notice that on my steering wheel, it was a little bit matted and it was starting to go a little bit gray, where it's kind of a dark charcoal black, and it was going a little bit gray. So I got a fantastic cleaner. And I'm going to walk you through it. It's really simple. There's no reason why you couldn't do this. All in all, it takes about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less, but take care of the Alcantara in your car. Now, there's a lot of places you can have this. For example, BMW has it in their armrests, in the gear shift surrounds, parking brakes, steering wheels, all over the place. And the process is essentially going to be the same. So let's get out to the car. I'll walk you through this really quick. It's really simple, and you can do this yourself. Okay, so we're out in the car, and if you watch my video on my steering wheel install, I went from pretty much the standard steering wheel for the F32 to this M Sport model, which I just adore. It's half straight leather on top, half Alcantara on the sides, and Alcantara through the middle, which is just great. And I love the feeling of it. It makes a huge difference. Definitely look into changing your steering wheel if you want to, because it makes a huge difference in your daily driving. But the one thing that I always wanted to make sure that to be super clear on was, you need to clean the Alcantara. Now, my parking brake holder is also the shroud on that is also black Alcantara, and I can see the difference between the two. Obviously, I've got my hands on this every single day. So I figure I'm going to clean this at least once a year, maybe a little bit more often than that. And I want to stay on top of it so it always stays nice and soft and looks really good, just as good as it feels. So this is the Race Glaze Alcantara Cleaner. The instructions are very, very simple. It says lightly mist on. You can also put it onto a rag and rub in. I actually think I'm going to mist on. I've draped my dash a little bit, and I'm going to drape around this so I don't spray it around too badly. But I do want to get this on. So it says spray a light film over the surface to be treated. You can also rub it in and rub gently with a cloth. I've got lots of my microfiber cloths around. So we're just going to lightly, I'll get my spray pump going here. We're just going to put a nice light mist on the Alcantara. Now remember, you're going to get the back of the grips as well, because you've got your hands on the front and back. Now I might be putting on a little bit heavy, so I'm going to go a little bit lighter as I do this. Also looks like I can't avoid but get my buttons a little bit, so I'm going to be careful there, because the last thing I want to do is cause any problems with my buttons, right? So there's one side like that and through the middle. Now I'm going to take my microfiber, gently rub in. Now granted, it's dark right now, but it already looks better. So I'm going to rub in, got to make sure to get behind it as well. To get the back side so I'm not spraying in my own face, I'm going to spray on a cloth and then gently rub in on the back, because your hands go all the way around, right? So, because one of the biggest complaints about Alcantara is that it can wear, it can start to look bad. Yeah, it feels great, but it starts to look bad. Also, while I'm at it, I'm going to dry my buttons here. I've got a little bit of spray on my buttons. Now, you can also see as I go through this, I can see a few places I've missed here. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of extra right there. It's funny, with Alcantara, you can tell how you drive, right? Where your hands sit the most, because I can definitely see the patterns on the steering wheel of where that sits. The other thing you also want to keep in mind is if you have a good leather conditioner, if you have a leather steering wheel, use that as well. I'll use that at another time on the upper and the center and lower section of my steering wheel. But the biggest thing I wanted to do right now is get this clean, and it's already making a huge difference. So I'm going to lightly scrub at that, and it says give it 1 to 2 minutes. So I think that timing is going to be perfect, because if I give that time to soak, and then I go and I work on the other side. And I'm going a little bit heavy. It does say a light mist. I wouldn't do this to the point that everything's dripping, right? But do a nice light coat through this whole thing. I'm going to get the other side through the middle. I'm going to avoid my buttons this time. Like that. That was a bit much. Just got a little bit of extra that's dripping there, so I'm going to wipe a little bit early there. And get up this outer edge as well. And then I'll use my rag again, my towel again, on the back side. So I'll add it a little bit here. And it was definitely a light gray before. So the Alcantara was turning a light gray, which in comparison to my brake shift cover, I'm not going to do right now because it doesn't need it. It's just, there's no marks on it. It looks perfectly clean, just like when I installed it quite some time ago. So, all right. So I'm gonna let that soak in. And granted, I'm dealing with it all being wet right now, and it's gonna be a little bit of darker color when it's a little bit damp. But if I look at this side already, and I'm going to change my camera angle and kind of give you a close zoom here once I'm done. But the difference on this is tremendous. So already, get all the nooks and crannies. Make sure to get all the little corners. And that'll clean up nicely. Yep, I was definitely more thorough on the left than when I first started on the right, because I'm not seeing any missed spots. Ah, I take that back. I missed a little spot. I can see it right there. So I think I'm just going to use my rag and get that extra part right there. So this really is a good idea because you have your hands on this all day. You want to maintain this. You don't want this to wear out early. It is possible to wear out Alcantara. And I've seen some really horrible examples of people that have just ground it down and it looks terrible. I can even see it start to peel a little bit. So a little simple maintenance here, just like you should do on the rest of your car, a little simple maintenance can make a huge difference in the appearance and lifespan of your car. And if you take care of it, your car can last a really long time and still look near brand new. I've gone through several models of BMW that have been older. I mean, 2000, 2004, 2006, 2008, and I'd get compliments all the time on how they looked brand new. Well, it's because you just do simple things like this. You know, this is going to take me all in all probably less than 10 minutes. The process is going to be longer and probably shorter than probably this video to do. So, but super simple, already looks better. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to soak in, then we're going to lightly buff it off. All right, so I've pulled my draping down because we're just kind of at the buff stage here, as it were. The difference is already just hugely dramatic. It really was kind of becoming a light gray before this, and it's dry. It's not that it's still damp. It was really a light gray before, and it's cleaned up really, really nicely, and it's back to a matching really dark charcoal gray, very similar to my parking brake surround. So looks great, super simple. It's one of those maintenance things that you can do in less than 10 minutes and will help maintain what is a pretty expensive investment depending on your steering wheel and your Alcantara interior. Now, I don't have the additional pieces like the Alcantara armrest in the center, though I'll probably pick one of those up one of these days soon. And so imagine your arm sitting on that all day long. You're going to end up with a mashed place in the middle with extra wear in the middle, and different from the outside, and it's going to start to look a little ratty and kind of two-tone, which you don't want. So definitely take a look at this and clean your Alcantara. So, all right, so I'm going to pull my camera down off my mount and zoom in a little bit so you can see it up a little bit more up close, and we're all done. Do it today. Do this do this today. I think you'll appreciate it. All right, so here we are, up nice and close. Looks so much better. There's definitely spots that are starting to get a little bit matted, a little bit dirty all the way around. And again, your steering wheel may be different, but it's really important to use on a high contact surface like your steering wheel. So it looks really good. All right, so simple, easy, and something that I think you'll thank yourself for doing later. Take about 5 minutes and get it cleaned up, and you'll be good. All right, all done. And actually, I've driven my car for the last couple of days now that my steering wheel is clean and that Alcantara has been cleaned, and I can honestly tell the difference. It's very soft again. The color is back to what it was before, and this is something that you should definitely look to do pretty regularly to maintain your car. You take care of it, and it'll last a long, long time. One of the primary criticisms of Alcantara is that it can get matted and kind of wear out, but I believe that if you clean it, it'll last much, much longer and maybe forever. So do this for your car today. If you like what you've seen, please click like and subscribe. There's also the little alert button next to it. That way you'll get notifications when I have more DIY videos that are coming up, and I have a bunch of really cool projects on my bench that I'm excited to get to. So I look forward to seeing you on my next project.